Risotto is one of those dishes that reminds me of why I started cooking. The first time I tried it, I was at a friend's wedding, and the feeling I had towards that risotto was on par with the love my friend had for their partner. I never thought that I'd be able to create something so beautiful and resolve to just live a sad, risotto-less life for literal days until I realized that that was dumb because I could just try making it. And so the first time I made it, it tasted like soggy rice. But I had an idea. Parmesan cheese and a spinach puree mixed in makes it look fancy and colorful, which is the bare minimum if we're trying to make some culinary thirst traps, which is what we're here to do. And speaking of, while making this, I had the thought of trying to make dishes for each color of the rainbow. We've got green down, but which color should we do next?
Welcome to another episode of Cooking the Rainbow. Today is arguably the easiest color in the rainbow to base a dish off of, and that is the color red. Tomato soup has been fueling Americans ever since Campbell's came out in 1895. It's a classic, and I'm convinced it would also fit right into the presidential diet, given that both Trump and Biden apparently eat like middle school boys, which is actually pretty consistent with how the debates go. Add in some grilled cheese and apple slices, and I'm immediately transported back to my acne-filled middle school years that I'd blocked out of my mind until now. Honestly though, to anyone who had a positive middle school experience, just one question: how? I am trying to make dishes for all the colors of the rainbow, and today is pink. Or purple. To be honest, I'm not sure whether it's pink or purple. Which, this dilemma actually reminds me of the dress that went viral a couple years ago. You know, the one that was either white and gold or black and blue. Kinda crazy that so many people can look at the same picture and see completely different things. There was actually a scientific article written about why that was, and I'll post a link to that in the description though. Spoiler alert, the dress was actually black and blue, but hopefully 9 years later that isn't too much of a spoiler to you. Getting back to the matter at hand though, do you think that this pasta is pink or purple? Let me know what color you want to see next, and I'll make a dish for the one with the most votes. I made this incredible Indian meal in 8.5 minutes, and this is how you do it. You come into the kitchen, exhausted after a long day, determined to make something nice for dinner. Then, after a minute of trying to motivate yourself, give up, reach into the freezer, and grab these frozen meals from Trader Joe's. Now we get into the recipe. Rip, pierce, and warm up the vindaloo for 3 minutes. While that cools, move on to the biryani. Rip, pierce, and warm up for 3 minutes. Lastly, it all comes together by opening and warming up a naan for 1 minute. Take the next 30 seconds to arrange it all on a plate, and congratulations, you've avoided making dinner another night. You want to know the secret behind internet food creators? Taste honestly doesn't even matter. It all comes down to how the food looks. The prettiest dishes end up performing way better when the fugly ones, even though they will rock your mouth, are left by the wayside. Kind of feels similar to something else, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Anyways, this gnocchi was made with whatever I had left in my fridge, and was described by my girlfriend as tasting like beef stew. It doesn't look the greatest, but it was pretty hearty, and it made some solid lunch leftovers. It's okay, my beefy gnocchi. I still love you. When I think about making a sandwich, 9 times out of 10 I end up making a sad little basic 2 slice of bread, cheese, turkey, and mustard sandwich, and that's it. It does the job of keeping me alive, but will I enjoy the process? That's debatable. So today I decided to make the sandwich that I actually want. Loaded with veggies, plenty of meat, a fancy goat cheese that's spread on the bottom, some Dijon mustard on the top, balsamic vinegar, salt, pepper, basically everything that you could want at a Subway on your toasted buns in the comfort of your own home. That's the dream.
There is one Italian dish that is better than all others, and that is carbonara. It's so obvious that anyone who doesn't agree must be living under a rock. Growing up, there was this one restaurant in a wine cellar that served the best carbonara I'd ever had, and I still dream of it because it was basically the closest thing to sex I'd experienced for years until I tried duck for the first time. Eating it, that is. Not, well, you know. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, everyone should try carbonara, except if you have high blood pressure because it's basically just carbs, cholesterol, and sodium. Or do it anyways because you only live once, so you can make your own decisions. I don't know. I just eat what tastes good while my girlfriend freaks out about my health and thinks I'll die young. In the words of Stanley Hudson, drive fast and leave a sexy corpse.
I gave up meat for 3 years as a college athlete, and believe it or not, I didn't totally hate it. At the time I made the decision to give up my meat, I was literally having wing eating contests and post-workout milkshakes with tubs of ice cream. My conversion started with a documentary called Game Changers, and because I was doing track and field, the health perks caught my attention. So I swapped out burgers for beans, and I realized I didn't know how to make anything without meat or dairy in it. The beginning was kind of rough, and I definitely got in touch with my roots by surviving on bananas, but I have to say, the results held up. I had quicker recoveries from workouts, less bloating, and no feeling heavy after a meal. The hardest thing about being veg though was trying to stick to the diet while out without coming across as that guy. After a while, I compromised too many times, and eventually Steak's siren song lulled me back into the world of omnivores. While I've kept eating meat, I still fondly remember my days as a bean boy, because
The best part about being an adult is being able to do all the things you wanted to do as a kid, but with adult money. Now, I can't remember the last time I had Kraft mac and cheese, whether it's because I'm trying to be too health conscious, I forget most things in my life, or just straight up divine intervention. I don't know. But recently, I've been feeling like my arteries are clean enough to indulge in some heart-stopping, cheesy, ooey gooey goodness that would drown out the stressors of life. I opened my cabinets, and thus what I'm affectionately calling Bougie Mac and Cheese was born. It's basically a combination of everything that's right in the world. It did give me a little bit of chest pain after 2 bowls, but hey, sometimes you just gotta indulge to the point where you swear off junk food, commit to eating clean for a month, and then feel good enough for a decadent cheat meal, overdo it, and then enter the cycle all over again.
Pizza is the gateway to so many childhood memories. Growing up, every Friday night was pizza night. Our family would rent a movie, we'd get 2 pizzas, and eat in the living room while watching. It was a pretty simple family ritual, but I'd look forward to it each week. It's one of those little things that growing up you don't think too much about, but once you're on your own and you're starting to think about your own future family, it makes you wonder what kind of family rituals you want to try and create. You know, which ones you want to replicate from your childhood and which ones you want to steer clear of because you're still reconciling your own childhood trauma. Maybe if I plan this right though, I could raise some kids who also like anchovies on their pizza so I won't be the only one. That and raising them on League of Legends so that I can finally have a 5-person pre-made.